Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Başla olur. Okay, look, the reason why I'm filming this video is so late. It's about 7:30 p.m. at night. Um, Today my health issue circumstances was a little bit worse than previous, I think, 2 days. But there is nothing wrong with that. People get sick. People, Allah tests us with our health when we don't expect that. But I'm not, sad. I'm not stressed. I know that there are gonna be good days. There are gonna be bad days. There is nothing wrong with that. Like as I try to read Quran every day, and Quran reminds you how much God loves you, a lot of times, and it heals my heart, especially when you're at the bottom, and in addition to this, you are maybe sick, you are maybe tired, or something like that. Okay, look, one of you asked me on Instagram, you don't necessarily need to DM me if you wanna ask something. I mean, if you wanna ask something private, then I'm always welcome to hear and listen to you. But one of you guys asked on Instagram to show how exactly I am reaching out to people on Instagram, and to show how exactly I'm texting people, text which I'm writing, message I'm sending, and how I am in general finding all these entrepreneurs. First of all, let me say you, because this is an easy way to find entrepreneurs, because this is a free way, an easy way, not an easy way, because this is a free way, this is harder one. Paying ones, there is an Apollo.io, which is gonna give you all the emails and all the LinkedIn contact data like this, and you don't need to make research and this and that. On Instagram there is so many things which can go wrong. For example, if you make content on Instagram like I do, there's always chance you're gonna go on Instagram to upload a content, right, like a good Muslim, and in the process of that you're gonna see someone maybe reply to you to ask how much your services cost. Then you're gonna be go to messages, and when you're gonna replying to this person, you're gonna, in the process, you're gonna forget why you get into Instagram. And because you're on Instagram, you're gonna go to For You page, and you're gonna forget about why you even get into Instagram. Even worse than that, I just want to warn you, if you're a Muslim, there are going to be a lot more trials and tribulations with this kind of method of outreach. But because I I prefer this way of outreach, because people on Instagram go to Instagram, and they're more willing to socialize than when they pick up a phone call, or when they go to their email. People on Instagram, they're more likely to reply you back, at least say not just I'm not gonna say you anything. That's why I like Instagram more. First of all, I use Instagram more, a lot more than I use email or cold calling. It's easier for me and it's easier for them. Yes, in the process there are a lot of problems, like half naked girls on Instagram, which you accidentally stuck in front of, and you're like astaghfirullah, and just scroll, whatever. There is a lot of distractions on Instagram, like For You page, reels, photos. uh, I have 2 or 3 friends on Instagram, right? A lot of distractions. I just want to warn you about these kind of things. But yeah, there's a lot of things which you can do to prevent it. For example, like if you're gonna measure, like I do, how many days you are actually reaching out to people, not how many days you are using Instagram, how many days you're actually texting people with the goal of selling them your services, and via, like selling your services to help their business grow, because your marketing skills are gonna help their business to scale. Your video editing skills are gonna help their videos get more views, and by that scale their business. My website is gonna help them to convert more people from cold leads to warmer leads, and basically give them like a status of not a scam business, because some websites are so crappy that you feel like this is just a scam website. Yeah, if you are making websites like I do, please make sure that most of you guys are doing websites, and that's good, but you know work on a design of your websites which you are doing, because you are using templates and things which are ordinary ordinary, and like stock footage photos, and like stock footage videos even, and this is not cool, brother. Like I personally don't feel like it's a safe place if I see like a stock video or stock photo in a background or in a front page. Like it's not cool to make this kind of put in work, spend a lot more hours trying to make it more like a professional website. There's like websites like awards.com, www.awards.com, where you can get these kind of crazy inspirations. I mean, if you're making websites on WordPress, there is gonna be trials, and like there is gonna be problems with that, because on WordPress, this is the the like largest reason why I don't do websites on WordPress, because websites on WordPress which you do for beginners may be good, but like I never made websites on WordPress, and I believe that I will not never make them on WordPress. I create websites back then when I was 15, 16. I used to make them using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. These are the things which I learned in 3-4 months in coding bootcamp. Plus to it, I had YouTube tutorials and free. I had a friend which was a web designer, and he used to make designs for practicing, and I used to tell him I used to make some like interesting projects, 1 or 2 projects for just interest with him. So I got this kind of friends. If you don't have this kind of web designer friends, there's like so many like free templates out there which you can learn HTML and CSS and a little bit of JavaScript for just like some kind of interesting animations. These things already are gonna level you up from just a like ordinary average WordPress website so much, because even basic HTML and CSS can give you a lot more better user experience and UI good looks of the website in general than just an ordinary website. It's just insane how, in comparison, these websites made on only using basic HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, a little bit of, for like things like buttons, things like animations, things like loadings, just a little bit of JavaScript, a little bit of functions. At least, even if you know, at first you're gonna be copying and pasting. That's what I did. But if you're gonna continue growing, what is gonna happen? One day you are gonna make enough money to buy yourself a good knowledge from somebody who knew JavaScript better than these people who are giving you free knowledge. And you're gonna buy this knowledge from this guy, Learn JavaScript way better than just a basic loading and button clicks. Now you can make a lot better and high quality websites. I make websites using React.js, and this is basically applications. Like this is, you know, tool using which you can create not only websites but web applications, literally like Facebook. Yes, I do React.js only front-end side to create a whole application which is like sustaining itself. You need both back-end and front-end. The single problem which I have is that I don't have a back-end engineer in my team. When I will, I will scale my agency. I don't really have a goal to make a solopreneur agency or anything like that. By the way, I really bad at memorizing stuff and things. That's why let me tell you, if maybe any one of you are willing to, I'm just curious if any one of you are interested in, sales, because I would like to, for a performance and percentage, maybe hire one or two people as sales guys who can help me with outreaching to people. I'm not making you guys to like, if you are interested, then DM me on Instagram, we can have a conversation. I'm gonna tell you a little bit more in deep about, you already know that I'm making websites, and if you would like to help me with sales, you can DM me on Instagram for a percentage, for a performance, like any sales guys in basically any company. We can inshallah work with you guys. Okay. Yeah, I do websites on React.js. I create websites on React.js. I mean, if the website is too simple, I don't use React.js. I just create website on basic HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But if someone, my client, is asking me to create something more, you know, um, harder, something which is more complicated, the thing is that you might say, and this is a very interesting, thing, which I want to say you, there might be some people who are gonna tell you to make them a website which is like freaking level of Facebook or whatever, and they will give you like insane amount of money for you. Insane amount of money, it's about $5,000, $7,000. They will offer you $5,000, $7,000 for a website which is same about level of like a freaking I don't know, like if you have seen websites of Ferrari or Lamborghini, where you can just customize your personal Ferrari, make an order, make a payment, and website will send you a push notification about your Ferrari is done. Do you understand that? You might say, oh, I will hire a team, I will hire freelancers, I will do this, I will do that. It's more complicated than you think it is. The process of creating this kind of softwares, the process of creating this kind of more complicated things are more complicated. Surprise. And the are more complicated to you because you have no freaking idea what you are doing. And the people who you are hiring are gonna be expecting you to explain them what to do. To a certain degree, yes. To a certain degree, they will need to do the job, right? Like Steve said, some of you are gonna be quoting Steve Jobs in comments and saying, we are hiring people not to say them what to do, but we are hiring them to say us what to do. Guess what? When Steve said this quote, he was a millionaire and he already had Apple. All right. But before to get to that level, he was a good marketer and engineer to create a freaking, yes, basic, but some kind of laptop with his only friend in a garage. Right? Most of you are not smart enough to do something similar which Steve have done. And there is nothing wrong with that. We all are gonna get smarter. We're all here to self-develop and increase our knowledge. But the reason why I'm saying that is because I have done that. I'm a front-end engineer, and I once in my lifetime, I made a mistake, and I, um, one of my clients who I reach out to said, I need a bot, which is gonna, I need a bot, like a Discord bots, which is gonna be self-sufficient, and I need him to, I'm not gonna describe the project from A to Z, but the whole point of this, program was in that, you create this kind of bots using Python. And I didn't know how to code on Python. I was JavaScript developer. I was front-end developer. This software, this project needed backend, and mostly backend. It didn't need any kind of front-end because, if you create a Discord bot, Discord itself gives some kind of UI and some kind of design to your bot, already pre-made one, right? To your messages, which you're gonna send, and to the messages and replies which bot is gonna send to you, Discord already have made the design for it. So project didn't need me. If project didn't have a Discord, Discord's front end, then I would have made a front end side. The project didn't need me, but I hired a backend developers. That's what happened, is that I spent almost 50% of the budget for a backend developer, and I was pretty confident that the 50% of the whole project, I have it and I'm happy now. But what happened in a deal is that, in reality, the reality hit me, and I was stuck in a situation when client was expecting me to understand what I'm doing, and developer which I hired was expecting me to have some kind of knowledge about backend development also. And so I was a stupid guy. Yes, I was a guy between client and developer, but I was stupid. Astaghfirullah. And I wasn't smart enough to, understand what backend developer is talking about. He was talking about all these functions and things like that. But the client was talking about, client used to say, I need this feature, I need this feature, and then this feature. I'm like, okay. But I wasn't comprehending, understanding how these words, just, I need this feature sentence will actually transform into freaking code, working code, not just a code, working code. So this project was one of my failures, because client in the end, he prepaid me. There is a upfront payment which I take, about 50%, and he paid me this 50%. But what happened is that in the process, while I was we in a agency was doing all that stuff, we are we don't know what the heck we are doing, but client is expecting us to understand what the heck we are doing. And he just go away to somebody else. He didn't really wanted to pay for a service which is kind of working, because me and that guy was proud of what we have done, because this was first time when I worked with backend, and I was proud of that. This was prototype for me. This was like a baby, the first sparks of backend at Kiwi, at my agency, and I was happy about it. Developer was happy about that because it was his first commercial project for which he got paid, and I got paid. But what happened is that I basically didn't made any money out of that project. Basically, like, if I remember clearly, I made like 10 or 20 bucks. But he didn't pay me the rest 50% and just you know choose to work with somebody who understand what he is doing. So you better choose the projects which you know how to make stuff done. If client is asking you to do this and that, I mean, yes, to a certain degree, like, I think 5 or 10% of the project needed to consist things which you don't know how to do, to learn. This is great, but if it's more than 10%, if you take whole project as 100%, and 90% of it you know how to do it, but 10% you kind of know but you kind of don't know, it's good. But most of you don't know how to do 50% of the project and know only 50% of how to do it, right? So you better just skip this kind of projects which are just gonna be waste of your client's time and your time, and you probably are gonna end up in a situation where you are gonna just pay all the money to a guy which you hired because you didn't really know how to make this stuff done by yourself. Learn how to make stuff done first on your own, then hiring people is a correct decision. In like, I think so. I believe so. Or at least be confident in what you're doing, right? You need to be to a certain degree, successful, maybe financially, or I don't know. Like, you need to be most of you are not this kind of people, all right? And that's why I'm saying you know, it's gonna sound really cool when someone is gonna offer you for project for like $5,000. That's cool, but what's the point of this $5,000 if you're gonna spend like freaking 2,500 of it or even more to somebody else? Yes, when you're gonna yes, in agency sphere you are gonna in future hire people and this and that, but in future your website is not gonna be, your services are not gonna worth only like $5,000, brother. And you're not gonna be paying your engineers, developers, and designers like freaking $2,500. So the margins which you're gonna have in the future are far greater than the margins which you're gonna have right now. I mean, there is a lot of more complicated stuff which I can talk about. Uh, it's already like 23 minutes right now. Let me go to my laptop and I will show you guys how I am outreaching people. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, the first thing which you need is, let's say, so you want to outreach people on Instagram, right? The one thing which I'm gonna highly recommend you is build some kind of Instagram profile. Like, I have 305 posts, right? You don't really need like freaking 300 posts to start the DMing people, but if you don't have any kind of posts and you are like 0 subscribers, 0 subscriptions, I mean, you better fix that somehow. You have maybe friends or like, I mean, don't worry about followers, but the stuff which you're gonna be posting here, um, but better be something like like self-development or anything, because you don't want to be posting here memes. You don't want to be posting here freaking I don't know, like whatever, like you see here, like videos of mine, photos of mine, motivational, whatever, quotes of mine, useful stuff. You wanna, when you're reaching out to this kind of people, like entrepreneurs, you wanna show them that you are not a random guy from the internet, and you are trying, and you are doing, right? Okay. So I have notes in here. In my notes, I have a special, note which I have made for cold DMs. Bismillah. Chinese, whatever. Cold DMs, okay. So I have separate cold DMs text for human, if it's a person, and the business. Okay. The sentence by default, like the message which I'm sending to people is very simple. Hi, Mr. Whatever. Do you know anyone interested in making a website by chance? Because I was offering my web design services for only, and maybe you will say like 500 if you like. My first websites which I used to make was about $200 and $500. Because Kiwi is already a year old, I uplifted prices. I have already made some kind of results. I have portfolio and I have things to prove them that my service is worth the money which I am asking them. So, yeah. All right. Okay. Most of you have problems with finding this kind of entrepreneurs. Well, first of all, what I want to say you is if you are in self-development sphere in general, you already knew some kind of people. You already knew people who are you already know entrepreneurs, because you probably got inspired from this kind of people, don't you? Right? You maybe know man. Strange. Okay. Let's click one other, just whatever. Okay. There is another one. Maybe Sebastian. Yes, Sebastian, Georgia. Some of you are a drop shippers. So, okay, you're probably familiar with this third and last one. Jordan. Watch. Okay, so the first thing which I'm gonna recommend you, first and foremost, is that with this outreach method, which I'm gonna, basically this icon method, is that, working with only one person is gonna be complicated, because these recommendations which are here are the similar business owners and entrepreneurs like Sneeko, like Warren Buffett, whatever. These kind of recommendations which are gonna be recommended by Instagram, itself. Like, there are some useful recommendations like Huberman, David Goggins, these kind of people. But the thing with this is that you might not get the person who you actually want to DM to, right? Sometimes you don't even get anything out of that. So what I want you to do is to collect couple of like dozens of people, maybe 10 or 20. Like this is gonna be complicated for people who are like newbies in like self-development stuff. Yeah, I already see like I don't know this guy, I don't know this guy, I don't know this guy, I don't know this guy. These are the people who are sitting in probably good house, good car, astaghfirullah, whatever, and public figure. Okay, looks like someone who have money, right? Message. Okay, entrepreneur already message. Okay, um, create your own reality. Da, 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 da. Have money. Okay, message. Astaghfirullah, have money, message. Okay, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. Okay, so yeah, if you don't know any of these people, then it's gonna it's gonna be some kind of complicated for you to collect at least 10 people, at least 10 people who you know who are already entrepreneurs and have money, right? I know Sebastian, I know Iman, I know Jordan, I know Luke, I know Alex Harmozy, um, I know, like, let me go on YouTube, subscriptions. My first million, probably should consider. This guy is an entrepreneur, probably have an Instagram. Um, James Jani, I think, can, yeah, uh, have a potential to buy from you also. Probably, not 100%, but probably he might knew someone who might consider buying from you. So you always, that there is a friendship effect in here. You don't really like considering that particular person buying from you, but you expecting him to be in a circle of people who kind of need a website. And if you message them who is the particular goal of mentioning someone, maybe like was in a party last night with someone, and that particular person said or like looked like need a website. What do you think about that? I can make a website, da 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 da. Yeah, these kind of things. um, so yeah, if you have any kind of questions about that method of outreach, this is basically like like just a social media. Like you know someone who is entrepreneur and have money and can potentially buy your services and can potentially need your services, and you can be useful for them. All you do is to like DM himself. I didn't even knew that I didn't message Alex Hormozy yet. So I messaged Alex Hormozy right now, right? And I can message people who are familiar with Alex Hormozy. Like these are the people in like suggested probably are people who are familiar with Alex Hormozy. And I can search entrepreneurs in his followers list. I can search people in his following list, which are who are potentially new Alex and have money, and I can be useful for them, and like can buy my services. This is just a social media effect basically. So this is it, I think. I'm really like struggling to make these videos because I have this problem with my nose and throat and headache. When you have a headache, you don't really want to do anything. And because I promised myself that I'm gonna do this 365 vlogs for at least 1 year, let me try to do it and see what is gonna happen, inshallah. And so far, you guys are writing in the comments that I'm inspiring you. I don't really know like how a guy in his uncle's t-shirt like living with his mom can inspire guys. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not. I'm not somebody who have achieved something to inspire you. Honestly, I don't know how I can inspire you, but if I did somehow answered something you wasn't aware of, like inspired you, maybe how I can inspire you? I don't know. Yeah, it's just can't believe that I'm filming this video, honestly, because I used to make excuses back then. And now, because I'm measuring, I mean, I thought that I'm not making excuses. Do you understand that? But when I started to measure how many days I'm skipping, how many days I'm doing what I said I'm gonna do, I realized that I'm not as disciplined as I thought I am. And as soon as you are trying to fix it, as soon as you are trying to fix for better, change yourself, there is nothing wrong with being at the bottom. Because if you're like the problems begin when you are at the bottom and you're not trying to change yourself. When you're fat and you're not trying to change yourself. When you are not best practicing Muslim and you're not trying to change that. The problems begin when you don't try to change yourself. Because trying itself, it's moving. And when you are moving, brother, what can possibly go wrong? Like, yes, there are gonna be, days when you're gonna not feel like going, days when snakes are gonna bite your knees, right? Days when devil is gonna hit you the hardest and you're gonna fall to the ground bleeding. There are gonna be some days, and I don't know what I wanted to say some kind of motivation quote or something, but then I'm like, nah, I'm ill and it's 8 p.m. It sucks to film these videos already, and like, whatever, guys. May Allah bless you with success in this world and hereafter, and stay tuned. Peace.
Камера. Перекресток. 70.